Welcome back, everyone, to Talking Transfers. There are a couple weeks left of the transfer window, and I think we all agree on this table that Arsenal's business isn't done, or is it? At least we don't think it should be. Eberechi has been linked to the move to Spurs. Apparently, they're going to make a bid very soon, according to Fabrizio Romano. Rodrigo could be moving to City with all these rumours of Savinho going. Obviously, Grealish has gone to Everton, and Zinchenko, well, he's in line for a move as well, potentially. And obviously, he had everything to say recently, but has been a difficult season for him. Porto, Fenerbahce, others in for him. So we'll talk about all that in more detail, talk about the prices we want for players that are potentially outgoing. I'm here with Lee, here with Turkish, and here with Laurie to go into it all. And I think it's fair to say we're probably all not particularly happy at the prospect and idea of losing Eze to Tottenham.
Did we ever have him? Well, we did once upon a time. We let him go.
If we are supposedly in this race for him. Go on, Laurie. Let's get your take first. So Fabrizio Romano obviously came out a few days ago that Tottenham were serious. They'd spoken to Eze. He's actually open to joining them. He wants to play Champions League football. Apparently, they're going to make a bid imminently. Now, I think what is an interesting perspective for them is they did put up 60 million for Morgan Gibbs-White. Obviously, for various reasons, that didn't go ahead. So they've got money to spend, and it's going to take around that kind of figure to get Eze out of Palace. Are you worrying about this? And where do you think he'll end up?
I am worried about it. I would like to think he's going to end up at Arsenal, but I do believe it's almost like we've come full circle because, correct me if I'm wrong, initially it was Tottenham who had bid for Eze, wasn't it? Right at the start of the window. Or he was being linked with them anyway.
He was strongly linked at the very start, yeah.
Yeah, and then we later on tabled our interest. And I was one of those, naively maybe, that thought that this deal was as good as being done. In fact, I spoke to one of the AFTV contributors, I'm not going to mention his name, but he said that he had a connection. Lee, you know what I'm talking about.
He said it on a show. So.
Yeah, Smarty Marty.
FB Marty.
I mean,
Final boss Marty. He said that the deal was pretty much in place. So obviously I was excited about that because I absolutely want Eze to come. But this latest development is very disappointing to me. And I can't help but think that have Arsenal over deliberated. Their prevarication, or maybe not prevarication, but just the length of time it's taken has almost allowed other people to enter the fray, and now we're in danger of being gazumped by Spurs of all people. It's just very disappointing news.
Turkish?
my disappointment comes from the lack of activity or the lack of movement from our part more than anything else. It's just more salt to the wounds that it's Eze and Rodrigo being linked to two rivals for different reasons, local and competition-wise in Man City. But primarily it comes down to what are we doing and why are we not doing it? You know, why does it seem like our business is kind of done unless something pops up? How many times have we felt like this in windows, not just with Arteta, but a lot of them under Wenger? Always 1-2 players off. So everything else stems from that, which kind of gets lost in the whole, it's Eze, we was meant to get him. Was we? Because, you know, we were meant to get Madueke and got him. That shows an obsession, right? That shows you want a player and you wrap it up early regardless of an extended holiday coming up. So if we really wanted an Eze, what was stopping us going for an Eze earlier on and it just wasn't a priority to the extent that maybe we as fans wanted it to be. But if it's not, cool. But we are still short. So what are you doing is the biggest question for me. If Eze is, you know, in open and keen on Tottenham because he's waited around for us and it's not to be, or if Rodrigo is, you know, in talks with City potentially, okay, but what are we doing? Nothing. That's what it seems like. You're just waiting around maybe for a market opportunity, like a Sterling again. It just feels like that's how the window's culminating the next few weeks, because I feel like we should be as hotly linked to a couple of these players as any other teams.
It's hard to disagree with that, isn't it? I mean, he makes a good point about, you know, Madueke, we wanted him, we got it done. Nothing about, well, the Club World Cup's going on. Nothing about, well, we need to get the right fee. Well, we need to see about other left wingers leaving. It's just fundamentally we wanted him, we went and got him. And you do wonder why, you wonder how much of a priority Eze really is.
Yeah, and that's why it's a worry, because if I'm the player, I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, Spurs really want me. Do Arsenal really, really want me? And they're like, it seems to me at the moment, if you're a player and you've got the choice of both teams. There's one going, well, we'll take you if you want, and you can play out on the wing and you can play here, or the other one's going, no, we want you to be our number 10. You're going to get this shirt. You're going to. Where are you going to go? So I do think now it's a little bit of a worry. And what I'm saying about the priority is like, as you say, like and I don't really want to keep going on about Madueke as a bad signing. We haven't seen him play, but it was done quickly. Like, yeah, you're our man. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. With Eze, it's been like, well, we might have you if we sell a few players here and bring somebody in and make a bit of money here. What I see now is if the rumours are correct that Trossard's going, we need a replacement for Trossard. That is Eze. That's a
it's like a perfect fit, really. Yeah,
they're a perfect fit. So, listen, if Trossard's going to go, listen, there may be chats where they've been saying, look, we're going to obviously have to offload Trossard before we bring you in. Now, if that does happen, then they go, say like Trossard goes to Villa, or which he's been linked with, and then you turn around to Eze and say, look, you're now coming in, replacing Trossard, blah blah. I could see him thinking, all right, yeah, I'm going to get my game time. I'm going to and choose Arsenal over Spurs. At this moment in time, the better deal for him is to go to Spurs, from a personal point, because you've got the World Cup coming up. He's going to get more game time and all that. So Arsenal got to do some convincing, I think.
Yeah, the theory from some is that Arsenal have a first choice left winger they want, potentially Rodrigo, and if that can't happen, then maybe Eze's kind of back up someone who can cover there, but also answers a few other problems. I just don't really see. I think we need Eze regardless of who leaves or who comes in other areas.
100%.
I think we need an Eze. I just don't think he should be a part of it. I think Madueke should have been a do it if certain players leave.
100%.
You get a different type. Then I get it. I feel like Eze was the non-negotiable of the two. I mean, you can look at, because people could say, well, yeah, but Madueke is a different position. Cool, but we had Saka, Waneri, Dauman, who could all cover on the right. We had Martinelli, Trossard, who could all cover on the left. Jesus is going to return in 2 months. Like, there really wasn't any need for Madueke unless he explodes to a level where we all go, wow, we didn't expect that. What a player. Like, unless it's a quality thing, but we haven't seen that. Whereas with Eze, it's not just a quality he had; it's a profile and type of player we fundamentally don't have in the team. So I'm very confused by this. Where do you guys think he's going to end up, or how do you think this is going to play out? Not just for Eze, Tottenham, Arsenal, all that, but how does the rest of our window look in terms of incomings for you guys? Turkish, what do you think?
How do I think it's going to look? How do I want it to look?
Well, give us both.
I want it to look Eze and Rodrigo.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of that, I mean, come on. Yeah, it's not happening, is it?
Can I just cut you? If there's interest in Martinelli and Trossard, wouldn't that be a great way to replenish the stock? What to say, right, Martinelli, let's say there's a £45 million bid for him. Mm-hmm. Take it. Let's say there's 15 million for Trossard. Take it. Now, to be fair, 60 million that you brought in doesn't get you Rodrigo and Eze, I understand. But you get an out-and-out winger, and then you get a creative 10-type winger. I know I'm asking for a lot, but
honestly, I think the business is there to. The way I look at it, if this season is as crucial as we agree it really should be or is, then Trossard, who has a year left and has shown that he's a great squad player, right? You keep him, you let him run down his year. You sell Martinelli because as much as it's gone stale here, there's also a player in there that needs a fresh start, in my opinion, somewhere else that might play to his strengths a bit more. And then you're a bit more ruthless in that position. You get a new winger in, backed up by a Trossard who's got a year left, and then within 12 months you're replenishing that position completely. Do you get what I'm saying? So I always saw it like that. That's an opportunity. But a lot of the talk was Trossard goes, okay, so let's get that one sorted early. Is it Saudi that showed interest? Let's see, because Saudi get done over for prices a lot. So surely we can get a 30-40 million for a Trossard early on in the window, and then we label, we just mess. The whole report in that after Gyökeres, and don't forget Gyökeres was like the 3rd week of July, right? Since then it's been Arsenal are focusing on player sales. Who's getting paid for this? Because 3 weeks later we're no closer to player sales.
Which is a crucial point here, sorry, because I actually think we could all stomach that as a fan base if we were anything like Chelsea or Liverpool when it came to letting comes to letting players go. Because you go, well, I could trust the club to get good money, and I therefore feel like it's going to go somewhere significant. But here we are with crucial players, still nowhere close to leaving. We'll talk about some in a bit, but
yeah, and even the players that are closest, probably Trossard and Kiwior. I'm sorry, but I'm not having that.
You want them to stay.
Because like I've just said to Robbie on Gunners Unfiltered, right? We often cover shit up with, it's good depth, right? And we've said that for a lot of players this summer, right? Because really, Gyökeres and Zubimendi are the only 2 out of the 6 that we all have high hopes come and improve that first team, right? So the rest are good depth buys, right? Okay. But Kiwior and Trossard have proved they are good depth. But we're also okay letting them go. Make sense of that for me. Because surely if they've proved they're good depth, okay, they might want some more minutes. Trossard, you've got a year left, hold tight, and then you can go get your bag. Kiwior, okay, 1 more year, mate, and we'll sell you on because you are better than just the minutes you're getting right now. But instead, it looks like they're the most likely to leave, when the reality is there are 2 best squad players, in the sense that if we have an injury in the centre-back department, Kiwior stepped up. He stepped up a left-back as well the season before
and
last.
right centre-back.
Yeah, correct. And Trossard stepped up off the bench a few times for us over the 2.5 years he's been here. But we're okay with letting them go. What will the next problem be? The depth is not. But I thought it comes a certain time where focus on the starting 11. Don't tell me we're buying 50 million Madueke for depth for Saka. It's not depth for Saka. We don't buy 50 million players for depth. And if we started doing that before actually going ATMs on the starting option, it just proves how silly we are in the market.
Yeah, it's a fair point. So, Eze, where do you think he ends up here?
I want Rodrigo more than Eze, but I think Eze is more likely than Rodrigo. Where does he end up? Not us. Tottenham.
Laurie?
I would love to think that he's going to end up at Arsenal. I just can't get my head around him going to Tottenham, especially at this late stage. I think if that happens, to me, that would represent us dropping the ball unbelievably. We were in pole position for this guy up until about a week ago. Then I started hearing stories about Tottenham's interest. Now it's progressed to Tottenham on the verge of making a bid. As I said before, it's disappointing news, man, because me personally, I would go against what Turkey says. I would prefer Eze over Rodrigo all day long. I think he's much more suited to Arsenal's style of play. I think you can play him as a left-sided forward. You can play him as a number 10. He's Premier League battle-tested and ready. He's good to go. We haven't got time for over-assimilation. I think with Eze, you get him, you can put him in the team the next week, he's good to go. And for me, that speaks volumes. So in answer to your question, I think we will get him, because I can't imagine a world where we don't get him, especially if he goes to Tottenham. That will be soul-destroying for me, personally.
Lee, how do you think this ends?
I could see it ending 3 ways. Like, you know what I mean? You could go to Arsenal, could go to Spurs, or could stay at Palace. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Looking on it now, I don't think Arsenal are that interested in him. If I'd be really honest, I think they would have done a little bit more to get him. That's my personal opinion. So I think that, as much as I'd like to see him at Arsenal, I'm with Laurie. I'd love to see him at Arsenal, but I think that Spurs, there's more need for him, and I think that with their injuries now to Maddison and Kudus, I think that their desire to get him is more than Arsenal's, and I think that may be enough to push him there.
Okay.
Even with what we've spent, you can just see it being spent better just off the facts alone. 200 million.
It's not
like we've spent enough to be a bit feeling a bit better about it all right now. That's why I never bought into this whole Kepa Norgard. Like I get why they've come in, but there was also probably internal solutions we could have worked better. You said that instead of going for a Norgard, go for a Rodgers type or that mould where Rice backs up Zubimendi if there is an injury problem. Different type of 6, but still a very good 6 in his own right. And then you have someone else in the 8 who's a bit more fluid in the attack maybe, but we chose not to do that. Or, because look, 50 M's for Zubimendi, right? It was that 60 million for Gyökeres, 110 million. If we're saying it's 60 for Eze, that would be 170 and 80 for Rodrigo. That's 250. I know we spent 200 now, but you include a player sale in there, maybe a Martinelli. we're talking about this window a lot better than we are currently. We're trying to cope with this whole depth stuff and all that. I get it, but
I think
we're losing a couple of players that were proven good depth for us. It seems
the Madueke one is the one it's and I don't want to go against him, but if that stops us getting Eze, I'll be really peeved by that.
it stopped something though. Whatever it stopped, I'm annoyed about. Even if it's not Eze, it's something. Because if it's not Eze, it could be a Rodrigo. If it's not a Rodrigo, who knows? I mean, quality players have gone that I would have preferred in the market.
I think there's a domino effect here. I think City have let go of Grealish. Tottenham want Savinho. City don't look like they're willing to stand in Savinho's way. But I think they'd only sanction that if they got the right money from Tottenham and if Rodrigo was available for them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the money's only right for Tottenham if, to be fair, Tottenham match that. But I don't think they are going to do Savinho and Eze just like that all at once. It's not... I mean, I might be wrong, and my word, I love Arsenal to do this, but it's not very Tottenham to add Kudus 60 million, Eze 68 million, Savinho is probably going to be near 60 million too. So somewhere I think there's a domino effect. I think if City get the green light from Rodrigo that he's willing to join them, then I think they'll sanction Savinho to Tottenham. So Rodrigo will go there. We'll know that City are getting Rodrigo, so we'll go for Eze. Tottenham will get Savinho. City will get Rodrigo.
And I can live with that.
That's how I think it will go.
I can live with that.
Until you see Rodrigo at City, and then it's not looking good.
No, but I understand what you're saying about the left wing position, but Eze can cover two roles in the team.
Eze's quality player. Don't get twisted. Eze's quality.
And he brings attributes to our team that we're lacking at the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In terms of his creative ability, in terms of his scoring goals, in terms of his shooting from outside the box. Those are all attributes that we need, you know what I mean? So, for me, I think that Eze should be a no-brainer, and I'm disappointed that it appears to have taken so long. A lot of our transfers seem to do this. Zubamendi thing, same thing. Even Declan last season, we've been linked with him, and we were always confident we were going to get him, but it just did seem to take a lot longer than we thought. Gyökeres, definitely, that happened there. Listen, obviously we don't know the ins and outs, and as my brother Robbie's always telling me, you have to understand the fine-tuning of the negotiations and all that. But sometimes when you over-deliberate, this is what happens. You allow another team to come in at the last minute and potentially gazump your deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the major disappointments for me.
Let's go through a super chat and a couple of comments as well. Josione says, Lee, but you must be happy with no Eze. You backed Havertz and Martinelli to win us the title when they are bang average. Please answer me why after 3 poor seasons of Martinelli we should keep him. I'm really curious.
I still, because I don't think he's being played in the right way. I think like he's been stifled by the way Arteta sets out. That there's no what's the word, care of duty to the left hand side like there is the right hand side. I think the right hand side is well looked after and stocked. On the left hand side, it's so you get back and work hard. Listen, I don't sit too far from where Arteta is, and I see when Martinelli's on that side, I see him restricting him. I see him telling him to get back, I don't see him doing that with Saka when it's the other way. Go. When it's that pushing him the other way. So I feel that that's one of the reasons, like, you know, and we've had a Martinelli not at his best, and we've got second. You know, I mean, like, can you, Mikel, with the players that you've got, just twinkle with that a little bit and make him a little bit better, and maybe he might come first. The same with Havertz.
If Martinelli was at the levels of 22-23, I wouldn't be calling for a left winger. I'd be saying I'm happy with what we got. Trossard's good backup, and Martinelli is of that starting quality to win a title. But we only saw that for one season.
And he changed his style. Let's be honest. He changed the style of the play where it's different now. Where it's more, you know, like possession based. You
know what I saw on my timeline the other day was, you know, that offside goal at Old Trafford when Ødegaard put Martinelli through 1-0 up, and it's like he never makes that run anymore. You know what I mean? And we never play that pass. Like that whole move isn't an Arsenal move anymore.
No.
And I agree with you. I think there's blame on both sides. I think he's majorly restricted, but I also think he gets the ball enough to do more and show more quality, but we don't see enough of that.
Do you think with Martinelli, Lee, do you think that he's over-reliant on his pace? And we've seen this with a lot of wingers. They're very quick, they're very explosive. But over time, they tend to rely on that a little bit too much.
Yeah,
I do think with Martinelli, he needs to learn a couple more tricks in order to get past the defender.
I think that's a good point. But also, I think that has to be taken into consideration. If you're doing doggies from 80 yards there and there and there and there and there, then you get the opportunity to run at the player. Perhaps you're just a little bit jaded when you should be a little bit sharper than what you are because you've had to work back. I watch games with Arsenal, and there'd be one time, there'd be on Sunday, if he plays, that they're at us on the break, and the one stopping that break will be Martinelli because he's burst back past. You know, he hasn't got a left back protecting him like we have on the right hand side. You know, like the right back stays where he does. So I do think that the work rate, and listen, people will say that work rate should be there and all of that, and I agree with that, but you're asking a wide player to really be more concentrated on his defensive duties than his attacking duties, and as a wide player, that's a hard thing to take.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's stifling.
Yeah. So I think you know,
we have evidence of this, Lee. And sometimes you say things as fans, and you think, man, I don't really know what's going on, but this is just what I think I'm seeing. Mo Salah, I was convinced, wasn't being asked to do the defensive work that he probably was in previous years. They win the title, he comes out and says, Arne Slot said to me, don't worry too much, focus on your output. And I think, oh my word, so we were seeing it right. And I just can never imagine that instruction from Arteta. Now, I'm not saying you have to go all the way that way, but can there just be a little bit more releasing the handbrake for these wingers, and maybe you get something more from Martinelli? I just want to go through some more super chats and comments that are coming in. Thank you everyone contributing to the conversation. Kodak, I see you putting everything in capital letters. Says, stop blaming Madueke for every transfer, for fuck's sake. We have budgets for each position. Kodak, respectfully, I don't believe we have budgets for every position. I don't think they're told you have 80 million for a striker, you have 60 million for a winger. I think they're told you have 200 million. Spend it how you feel you need to spend to improve the squad. So I disagree with that bit. Second bit, when no one's blaming Madueke, like no one sat here saying it's Madueke's fault. We're looking at the club and the use of resources, and we're establishing whether they have used it in a fair way, address all the areas with the money that's been invested. It's not Madueke's fault. All he can do is come in and play the best football he can play. I thought he was good against Bilbao in the second half. It's not his fault. No one's blaming him. But we are looking at the club and the resources. If you're saying stop blaming the transfer of Madueke, fine, maybe, but the point is we're still expecting Arsenal to spend that money on top of having got him in anyway. None of us are sat here like, what's the word, accepting that, well, we're not going to get anyone, we've got Madueke, that's the one. We're all going, okay, cool, you wanted him, fine, but you've got to go again. So this idea that we're blaming Madueke, I mean, people need to stop being so protective. Like we're not, like we're having a go at every player just because we're not so happy with how the rest of the business has gone at times.
Yeah, man.
Don't know if anyone wants to come in on that, but
No, it just
bores me. Same old sort of, critique.
Madueke, like, it's got to work though, hasn't it? Because I'll tell you what, you've got all the cult Arteta following that will be backing him to the hilt, and there'll be the ones that are not backing Arteta that will be looking to criticise, and that's the problem you've got with this signing,
He makes a lot of these signings, Lee. He makes a lot of these kind of risky, I see something you don't type signings.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some they work. Jorginho, 12 million, brilliant. But Mudryk would have been that 85 million. Luckily, we didn't get him. Kai Havertz is that. Jury's kind of still out.
Still out on Havertz, without a doubt.
Like
You know what I mean? Some have made their judgment, others
the
haven't.
verdict's in on that. I think that's part of the problem with us and the way we look at things. How can the verdict not be made? I quote, he comes in as a midfielder, he loses his midfield position 6 months in, and we cry for a new striker for the next 18 months. Now we've got a new striker. If we all ask who starts up top game week 1, we all say Gyökeres. He's our highest paid player. The jury's done. They're home eating dinner. The verdict's been out. It's just people need to accept it.
And Gyökeres should start. There shouldn't even be a debate.
I'm glad you said that, because people will think I've got an agenda against
No. Like, you know,
you have
listen,
supported him and backed him, and you still feel like a new striker is exactly what we need.
listen, I'm a big fan of Havertz, as you well know. Like, but at the end of the day, there's no debate in my mind. Come Sunday, you know, when that team sheet comes out, Gyökeres is on it. Whether Havertz is on it or not, that's another matter. But like, I'll be massively disappointed if I go up to Old Trafford and Gyökeres is on the bench. I will be massively disappointed.
Effortless 7 says Spurs are going for both Savinho and Eze, not one or the other. No, yeah, that's what's being reported. I just don't think they would get both, is what I'm saying.
They might get both, but then they're going to have to sell. They're going to have to sell. They're going to have to sell like a Johnson or a Richarlison in that case. You know what I mean? They've just
they do still have Johnson, Odegaard, Tell, who can all play as wingers. Add Savinho, add Kudus, Solanke and Richarlison are there.
Too many.
You know, they could. It doesn't feel like how Tottenham do business. If they do, then I've got to credit them for signing 3 players. All 3 I'd have wanted at Arsenal and think would have upgraded Arsenal. Kudus, Savinho, Eze, all would have been players I'd have been delighted with Arsenal signing.
Yeah, but with Kudus, because people keep going on about that. Like, why didn't Arsenal sign him? Where would he play at Arsenal?
He would have Madueke's role for me.
Right, so he's not going to be guaranteed a start.
No, but I think he could have made that left wing his own, personally. I think he could have.
But he's playing for Tottenham on the right, so maybe that's what.
Yeah, but Madueke was like 95% a right winger for Chelsea.
I'm in a position where Kudus has probably said, "Look, you know, I want to play, and right side of that 3 is where I want to play."
Yeah,
I don't think Arsenal could have offered that.
Yeah. Maybe if that's the conversation and he really wanted to play that position, then fine. But I think in the same we've signed Madueke to play left wing probably, but also cover for Saka. I think Kudus was the better option. But
But,
I mean,
I think that the Madueke is a very interesting signing because it is the kind of signing that could show the manager in a really good light. Because if you think of Madueke's qualities, I mean, I've spoken to a few Chelsea fans who have watched him previously week in, week out, and the one thing they always say is that he's an aggressive winger that likes to take on the fullback, and he's a direct runner. Again, those are things that we've lacked on that left side. Yeah. Now, if he can bring that, I mean, James said something a second ago that I do agree with. I thought he had a very encouraging game against Athletic. A couple of times he got the ball. Actually, as soon as he got the ball in that game, you could see he was looking to take on the fullback, and that was something that, like I said, we want to see.
I liked his ball into the box to Gyökeres.
Yeah,
like nice cross, took it early. These are simple things in football, but like,
and we have to remember as well. This guy's not a dud. He broke into the England squad a couple of months ago. Yes, there have been question marks against his. Previously, he'd been called out by Maresca about his attitude, but that was some time ago. He seems to have got his head down, worked hard. Like I said, he's got into an England team, which is not easy to do, and he's a good player. So if we get it right, if the manager gets it right, we could be saying this time next year that was a master stroke.
And another thing is that I didn't know this, but he was part of that youth World Cup winning team, wasn't he?
Okay, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. Like, you know, with the Smith Rowes and Fodens, he was part of that.
JJ07 Football 10 says we need to stop going on about Rodrigo because we were never going to buy him. It's as simple as that. Maybe not, but we were linked. So
no, but you go on because that's what we should be doing.
Yeah. Fair.
Do you get what I'm saying? I don't understand why Arsenal are never trying to buy the best players available, the best in class in the positions we want to. Why? Because I'm not disagreeing. There hasn't been a solid link to Rodrigo, full stop. But why? Rodrigo's not Mbappe. Rodrigo's not, Haaland. Rodrigo's a player that's attainable. If you give the money they want and the wages he wants, you can get him. Why are Arsenal?
I must say, he personally always struck me that he wasn't really interested in coming to Arsenal.
Yeah, but why did it strike you like that? Vibe from where? From nonsense
because
on Twitter?
I'd heard reports that initially wanted to stay in Spain to fight for his place.
Should I tell you what reports I heard?
Then when he wasn't getting the minutes at Real Madrid, it was he would entertain a move, but to stay in Spain. That's what I heard. So at no point did I ever see, and maybe you lot have seen different to me, At no point have I ever seen any quotes attributing him to Arsenal, saying, "Yeah, that's a move I would like."
We also heard that Isak stays at Newcastle if they make Champions League. We hear a lot of bullshit.
No, I'm saying I've never heard. Do you hear anything from Rodrigo to suggest that he was
neither
interested
here
in
nor
coming to
there.
Arsenal?
Neither here nor there. I haven't heard against it. I haven't heard for it. What I know is.
But you heard that with Gyökeres, right?
Heard what?
That
Well, I
he
heard
wants to come
early
to
on that he
Arsenal.
rejected Man United because he wants Arsenal. Yeah. But that was from, actually, was it Ornstein or Fabrizio that said that? Probably the most two credible, along with Hand of Arsenal this summer.
And we've also heard
It's
that Eze
available.
was
that's
apparently
fine.
interested in coming
But
to
guess
Arsenal.
what? We hear that Rodrigo's actually available the moment City ask, is he available? We see Isak's available the moment Liverpool ask, is he available? Maybe not by club, but by interest, he's pushing for it.
No, I'm not
Arsenal
saying
never
I
flex.
agree
Why
with
don't
you.
we flex?
We absolutely should be pursuing players of that quality. What I'm saying is that at no point did I ever get the impression, maybe you two guys have heard different, that Rodrigo was genuinely interested in.
At no point did I get the impression Ozil was interested. Bang, done. Just like that.
I think
Dominoes
with
fell into
Rodrigo,
place.
if he had the choice, he'd want to stay at Real Madrid. And
Well, that's what I'd read.
Guarantee the first team place.
Unless those comments that were attributed to him were inaccurate, that is what I'd read. That he
That
wants to
ain't
stay and
gonna
fight
happen.
for his place. That was when my man took over.
Listen, it's a massive thing for Rodrigo, because I tell you what, with Brazil, as you always know, that they're very keen to play in the World Cup and things like that.
Of course.
And all I ask
And he's
is
not guaranteed.
all I ask is be active. We needed a left winger in January. You missed the Kvaratskhelia boat, right? You didn't even show interest. In fact, Liverpool even piped up about that, and they was running the league. Well, maybe not that early on, but they was favourites by then. So you go into the summer. You're asked actually about Rodrigo in one of your first press conferences. Find out availability. If he's not available, if he's not interested, cool. Leao, are you available? Are you interested? Milan going through some financial difficulties. Yeah, can we make it work? No. Okay, find out. And then eventually you might be left with a Lookman for 47 mil or whatever his release clause is. But guess what? Like, you've worked your way down the pecking order and tried. Like we've done it with Madueke, like we've done it with a Rice, like we've done it with a Zubimendi, like we've done it with a Havertz. All these signings indicate obsession, because interest, deal, done. Pretty swift.
We'll
Right.
end up with Garnacho or Sancho, one of them two.
I mean, that's more typical than ending up with Rodrigo. That's for sure.
my mate told me that today. He said, "I bet we end up with one of them."
That better be.
Garnacho
it's
wants
not
to
a
go
mate
to
who's
Chelsea. That's
got
not gonna
sources, has he?
Sancho.
Yeah, that's not a mate who's got sources.
No. It's just like what gut feeling on it, like, you know.
I can't see that.
I think Madueke is the one shock Chelsea signing, and we actually got Kepa with him. But let's go through more comments. Kodak says, let's be honest, our team hasn't been the same without Xhaka. The left-hand side hasn't been, but we got to 89 points without Xhaka. Like, we had
I
become
think
a
people
very
forget
good
that,
side.
James.
Yeah. KFG says, an honest answer from Lee, do you really think we can ever win it with Arteta?
Do I? It's a horrible question, isn't it? Like, I mean, I think we're going to find out this year. That's he deserves the chance. He deserves the chance to be given that chance because of what he's done in the last couple of years. He's now got the centre forward. I don't think there's any excuse. The excuse I made last season was when we went like 6 months with a backup, makeshift striker. And he's still done this and done that. He's now got the real. I don't think there's no excuses for Arteta now. He's got to. This is it. Do I? If you want me to put my balls on the chopping line here, I'm not prepared to do
No
that.
thanks.
No thanks. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to do that. Like, you know, I'm not.
Thank for that.
Yeah, I'm not. The one thing that worries me about Arteta and Arsenal, right? And you can go on about what Tony Adams has said, captain and whatever was. There was one time in that season, not last season, the season before, one time it was in our hands and our hands only going into the game against Aston Villa. That was the only time it was in our hands. No one else in the whole league had it but us. And we crashed and burned that day. And I still worry about that.
That's fair enough. Next super chat. Josione says, Lee, we have to, as a fan base, stop gassing average players. If Martinelli was not Brazilian, we wouldn't be having a debate. I guarantee if Rodrigo was there, he would score and make a lot of goals. So we've talked about Martinelli, quite a bit of detail there, but fair enough. He's not good enough according to a lot of people, but I still think there's more to get out of him. Howard says, I feel like our attackers play too much defensively. Lee is right about that, but doesn't Martinelli get protection from Kiwior and Declan Rice? He thinks too much. I agree with you.
Martinelli thinks too much. It's interesting.
I kind of hear that. He kind of gets the ball and there's a lot of stopping and this, that. The instinct's gone. And that was what was quite refreshing from him as a youngster. Phil, I'm not going to read your surname, but I did think he made a good point. He says, James, we should be going for Brahim Diaz. Isn't that exactly the kind of signing Arsenal might make on deadline day that just gets them like a backup 10 but can play on the left, and Real Madrid are happy to sanction a loan? Like, it's the kind of thing I imagine us doing quite late.
I thought you signed a new deal.
Well, then that won't
That's
happen.
what I thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
Fair enough. AK says, do you know how insane Slot's pull is to have the best striker in the league acting like this? Final piece of the puzzle, Leone, Gehi and Isak, let's go. So clearly a happy Liverpool fan there. And Fabrizio Romano said about 10-15 minutes ago that Isak has refused to play in the upcoming games for Newcastle. They start away at Villa and then at home to Liverpool.
He's let himself down big time, hasn't he?
I have to say he has. And look, Gyökeres did it too.
Not to that degree.
Maybe not to that degree, but well, you say that he refused to train. He publicly called out the club saying that you'd promised me I could go. If Isak was promised the same thing, then they're not really doing anything different. I don't really think it's any way for a player to behave. However, if you get your move, then you don't really care what you leave behind, because you are endeared to the fans that are taking you in. Now, as Arsenal fans, all we've been saying is Gyökeres really wanted us. Look what he did for it. If you don't get that move, it can backfire massively. And I think it hangs in the balance whether Isak goes to Liverpool or not. I think it really hangs in the balance.
Hope so. You need to hold on, man.
Well, listen, we was out there. We had a little bit of inside thing that was going on. You could tell that the club and the players were all downhearted. I was in Eddie Howe's press conference, and I come out of that and I said, he's like really downbeat about it, and you can understand why. You know what I mean? Because there's obviously been a refusal to play. That's a kick in the old goalies for the players that are there as well. That he's refusing to play there. It's not a good look, James. No. It's not a good look. Liverpool fans will say it's a good thing. He wants to come to. Well, you know what I mean? They wasn't so accepting when Trent wanted to go to Real Madrid. It's not nice. So, like, whatever way you look at it, it's not nice on Newcastle fans. And Newcastle fans don't deserve this, by the way. No. They don't deserve that to happen to them. They've got themselves in the Champions League. And I think that what we were saying, everybody was just turning around and saying, look, you just give us one more year and that could happen. You know what I mean? And I think that's where there's been a little bit communication down and all that. Like Turkish was saying earlier on, like, once there's in the Championship. I think once, if he wasn't in the Champions, if Newcastle did not get in the Champions League this last season, he would be a Liverpool player now. I think that the fact that they've got into the Champions League, I think there was a thing, maybe an agreement, I don't know, give us one more year in the Champions League.
But also I think Newcastle have a bit of a mess of a situation upstairs whereby they don't really know who's sort of taking control of the situation, and maybe he was promised a move by someone who's no longer there. And I think with Gyökeres, wasn't he linked with quite a few clubs last summer, and maybe that's when he was told, look, give us one more year, you can go. I think that's slightly different to Isak, who really wasn't linked with the move at all. Even this summer, everyone kind of thought, he won't go. If
this was Saka or Saliba and it was happening to us, what would you want to happen?
I'd be furious.
It's happened to us, and that's why I don't really give a toss. I need us to start moving like lions. Like that's what Liverpool
we had this with Fabregas. Don't forget. Like, do you remember when they put a shirt on him and all that?
We had it with many. Van Persie was maybe not similar circumstance, but the outcome was one of the most painful. I
don't think we've ever had a player go on strike though, or refuse to play. I don't think we've got to that stage.
No, I don't think we've got to that stage. But I mean, I don't look at what Liverpool have done or what Isak's doing and care too much about it. It's just, it's
with the Gyökeres thing. I mean, a lot of people have said that. Listen, we shouldn't go on too much about Isak because Gyökeres did the same kind of thing. So correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the deal with Arsenal pretty much almost done, apart from the add-ons and stuff? And then Gyökeres started acting up because he was anxious to get it across the line. And at that point, he started throwing his toys out of the pram. Am I right in thinking that? Because
I don't know if it was quite. Maybe, I don't know.
Because that was my interpretation of it. The deal was pretty much locked in. There was delays on the sporting side. I remember the sporting chairman had come out and said, no, actually, we're going to bump up the price a bit more. We're holding out for certain
which is
things.
their right, by the way.
Yeah, which is their right, yeah. Whereas Isak is slightly different. Not that I'm not trying to make excuses for Gyökeres. I'm just saying that the two situations there are nuances to that.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I mean, I do agree that the way he's handled himself is very disappointing, I've got to say.
Who, Isak?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to see that. I mean, I never expected that. I mean, you look at Isak.
No, I never expected that from him. You're right.
Mild-mannered, introverted guy that always carries himself with aplomb, both on and off the pitch. So to see what's transpired, it's kind of disappointing. You know what I mean? But hey, it's not my problem.
Arsenal FC, not Arteta FC, is the name. Says only position we've upgraded is Gyökeres. The rest are scrubs. Wow.
What, even Zubamendi?
Yeah, Zubamendi's class.
If you think Zubamendi's who said that? If you think Zubamendi's a scrub, then boy, you're
Well, what I've said, we're certainly not that.
AK says Rodrigo wants to go to a team with European heritage. More super chats flying, and Josione says trust Laurie trying to turn Madueke into Ronaldinho.
Wow.
Also, Adams.
Is that what I said? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Tony Adams is spot on. Odegaard's too nice. He replicates Arteta when he was captain here and won nothing. We talked about that on Forever.
Arteta won the FA Cup as a captain, didn't he?
Yeah. Ohan says, I'd rather have us sign the best players than the players who want to play for us. We have so many excuses for not going for the best players. I agree with that. We
have gone for the best. I disagree with that because the best centre forward available this season, in this summer window, was Gyökeres. Yeah, we agree with that.
Yeah,
we signed him. The best midfielder that was available 2 seasons ago was Declan Rice. We got him.
You could add Zubamendi to that list.
Zubamendi's one of the most sought after midfield players. We've gone and got him. So
Liverpool wanted him before.
Yeah, I'm not saying it happens all the time, but Arsenal have been there or thereabouts. I think we're a little bit frustrated because we haven't got the, you can see it Turkish is, we haven't got the best left-sided player available. And I get that. There's still time.
I'm going to say this with love to Gyökeres and Zubamendi, who I think are very, very good signings. I think there's a difference between being a great player, even a great player in your position, and being a superstar. And I think Isak, Havertz, Rodrigo, they're superstars. I don't know what it is. They're just like, my word, I want to see them play for my club. And Zubamendi's, he might be top 3 defensive midfielders in the world. Gyökeres might be, with Haaland and Isak, one of the best goal scorers. He might be. I'm just, I'm being a bit hyperbolic. But do you know what I mean by that superstar term? We're never quite in for them.
I'm 100% behind what you're saying.
Yeah.
But put this, we're in the position now.
Yeah.
Where we're going for Isak, nothing else out there. Look what the trouble we'd be having with it.
I know what you mean. If it were August 14th and we didn't have a striker,
we're not got the striker now.
Yeah, we would all be.
We'd all be going mad now, pay them the money, Well, they're not willing to sell or whatever,
would you have waited to deadline day to get Isak though? I would have. If it meant we got him, but we had to wait to deadline day.
And really, when you look at it, Liverpool have done good business already. So if we had
Liverpool
put their anyway, didn't they?
Liverpool have done well with what they've done, so there's not too much pressure. We wasn't in that position, was we? To do that.
That's the problem.
You know what? I would say that we've had a pretty good window, and in fact, I'll go as far as to say, if we got Eze, along with the other signings that we've made, I think that'd be a very good window. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If we get Eze, right? Because let's be honest, it's unlikely we're going to get Rodrigo. If we get Eze, I'm
over the moon if we get Eze.
Huh?
I'm over the moon if we get Eze.
Yeah, I think that's a
I'm
great
there.
window. I know you probably don't.
It's not perfect.
Eze,
but it's
Oh,
a
you
great
do?
window.
Windows 6 out of 10, we get Eze, it moves up to 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8.
Or maybe even a 9 for me.
Nah, Rodrigo moves it to 10s, 9s, 10s.
Well, okay, fair enough. But I would say that's almost.
I would have
That's
gone.
an 8.5/9 window for me.
I
because
would have gone for Grealish as well. Like, you know what I mean, if we're looking for someone in, if we're not going to go and get Eze, that's what. So why couldn't we have gone and got somebody like Grealish? You know, someone that can do that job.
I like the
position.
I like the player. I just don't like the.
Yeah, there's
the
this thing
whole
that's going. What I'm
keep
saying is,
getting
but
players
like,
that our
I
rivals
get
don't
that. So I think
So
there
we
is
got Eze. What would you give that out of 10?
me.
Say we
That's a
get
9
Eze.
out of 10 for me.
Yeah, that's what I say. What do you think?
I'd give it a 9.
Yeah. So and with that
A weak 9.
and with
Yeah.
that level of talent, then it's up to the manager to say, right, okay.
I think
It's
if we
up
get
to
Eze,
the manager, if we don't get anything, we need to win.
oh,
the
you're going to
league,
be
in my opinion.
disappointed. Listen, also, if we don't bring anybody else in there, you're going to be. I think it.
Of course, because then you know
I
what's
think
coming.
I will be a little bit disappointed by it.
course.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Absolutely. If we don't sign anyone else, I'm going cool. You got the striker. Delighted with that. Madueke, I'm not really sure what he solves unless he is this explosive left winger. Zubimendi we knew about before, and then Mosquera, Norgard, Kepa. Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, good. Okay, good window.
It's a good window.
Thank you for this. Thank you for the striker. But I'm not thinking. Wow, what an incredible window.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And especially when you look at what others have done. Shirky, Savinho, Eze, Kudus, Rodrigo, Isak, Havertz, all these players moving around into the Premier League in some way, shape or form. And we didn't pick them up. I'd be disappointed personally. But let's get final super chats. And while I'm doing that, when you ought to think what valuation you would accept for Zinchenko right now, because he's been linked to the move away. Hal says, I'm a fan of Reece. Why are we in a rush to let him go? It's just time. It's time to let Reece Nelson go.
Circumstances.
Arsenal FC, not Arteta FC, says no, one upgrade, no sellings, but no sales. I guess he means Arteta's manager is still a 3 or 4 out of 10 summer for him. Josiani says, Lee, you're missing the point. I said Adams is spot on about Ødegaard being too nice. Ødegaard was not captain when we won the FA Cup 5 years ago. This shows you are content with the FA Cup. Sorry, I demand more. They've really had it in for you, Lee. Sorry about that.
No, look, listen, it's opinions, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still. I get. Listen, I get the debate. What he was saying about Tony Adams. I get what he's saying, but my thing is in that which people have overlooked on that. Like, you can. Take it off of Odegaard, but then you're jumping over Saka, who's our best player. Like, you know, I mean, who is, if I'm not correct, was vice captain on the tour all the time there. So you're jumping over 2 players to give it to Declan Rice, you know. And I don't think that you know that would ruin the dynamics of the squad. So I don't think it's a good thing to do.
We have to remember also that a captain, when a manager appoints a captain, it's very often a reflection of either the manager himself or how he wants that team to be managed. So it's very probable that Arteta, in assessing how he wants a team to be conducted, how he wants a team to be led, has looked at Odegaard and think, that's my guy. So what I'm saying, these things are subjective.
Yeah, and also I think
I mean, Arsenal have a leadership group, so Declan Rice is one of those. So
you know,
I don't think it's
Arsene Wenger.
I don't think us winning or not winning a title is going to come down to the captaincy.
No, but Laurie, Arsene
part.
Wenger was
Can play
never.
a part.
Patrick Vieira and Tony Adams were never like moulds of Arsene Wenger. They were completely different, and that's what I think sometimes you might need. You know what I mean? Like Arsene Wenger was a very non-confrontational manager in the dressing room. You need somebody in that dressing room then that's going to pick that up from there. You know what I mean? And ruffle a few feathers. Obviously, Tony Adams did that, and Vieira did that. Like, you know, and it's funny that since then, after that, under Arsene Wenger, we didn't win a title.
Sorry, Tash, were you going to say something?
No, nice time is done.
Yeah, I hear it.
You know, you start ruffling feathers, start holding each other accountable.
Yeah, I think that's got to be done as well. Turkey, I couldn't, you know.
You've had your dogs win. You've had your, your media days throughout the years, and every shirt sells here and there. now as a club we've got to win. The players, in my opinion, as well, like last season, Declan Rice and Timber towards the end mentioning, potentially signing new players. They also knew what we knew last year. Yeah. So hopefully they, are impressed with the transfer window because they needed a new lease of life off the back of last season.
Extreme 3-3s with a super chat says Koscielny was captain and refused to go on tour. I like Koscielny. That was a disappointing way for him to go. Sadiq says Isak is a coward. Wow, strong words. He went to hide at Real Sociedad instead of facing the people at Newcastle he spent 3 years with. He should have told everyone at Newcastle exactly why he wants to leave. Okay, yeah, strong words. These are the final super chats, guys. We're just going to get through them right now. All or nothing season 6. Arteta still nothing. There were talks of United doing all or nothing, but that's not happening. Abubakar says Havertz scored 15 goals in the Premier League and added 5 plus for wingers due to his play style. Gyökeres must net 30 plus in the Premier League for an impact, as our wingers will get impacted. I think Saka and Martinelli will look better in pre-season for having Gyökeres there, actually.
Which wingers did Havertz add goals to? Sorry. People just talk shit.
I mean, I can think of one, the Saka goal at Tottenham away when he
but he's acting like he.
Yeah.
Like
he was like
Martinelli
a Firmino
was
type.
best with Jesus.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
and the last 2 years he's regressed off. 30 goals in the Prem. There's only a handful of players that have done that.
Savinho, Grealish, Rodrigo, Baena, and Teta signs Madueke. Yeah, but I wouldn't have been that happy with Rodrigo or necessarily Baena. But Baena's a good player. He's gone to Atletico, I think, or not. I don't know. 84 Rough Rider says start Madueke, bench Martinelli. We miss Kelechi. I'm sure Kelechi will be at the games, giving his thoughts after games as always. Ryman, you're the last super chat. Best money we could have spent was paying Mikel to leave. That is harsh. Guys, Zinchenko's been linked with a move away. I just want to know the minimum you'd take, because I'm kind of in the camp of, if it's 10 million, I'd rather just keep him. I think we have injuries, we need squad depth. What's the minimum you take?
I think you also have to factor in that the players openly said he wants to play football. So if we have to take a little bit of a loss and let him go, I would entertain.
He's got 1 year left on his contract, maybe. What was the minimum you take, Turkish?
10-15.
Yeah, I'm in the 15.
15.
So.
Yeah, 15. Any less than that, I'd just keep him. I still don't. I think
I'm not sure if he wants to stay though.
No, but I don't think
if you read between the lines,
I think we can use him. Like, when did he become so bad that suddenly he can't
No, it's
play?
not. But it's not. It's not our
best.
call.
It's
not our call. But obviously,
that
he's
bloody
not
game
getting-
against Liverpool ruined him. That Anfield game, when he got done at
when
the
he
end.
got
That was
subbed off.
other than that, he was well thought of at Arsenal. But after that, it's just not happened for him.
Right, fair enough. Well, let's see Kiwior as well. Let's see what happens with him. Trossard's been
How much to
loosely
take
linked.
Kiwior? That's a good one.
Nothing less than 25 million.
40 million.
I'm in the 40s.
Oh, I like that. Fine. Yeah.
We bought him for 25ish.
Yeah, I'm in the 40s.
20, yeah.
I think you'd be doing well to get 40 for him. To be honest.
Quansah went for 35. No.
Yeah, you're right. Actually,
think
you're
so.
right.
Yeah, he
You're
was-
right,
he was
you're
bloody
right.
brilliant
35.
towards us
I'll
on
come
the-
up to 35.
Back end of last season, he was brilliant for us.
I think if you get 40 for him, I think you're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fair
Yeah, that's it. That's what we want, Laurie. Right, end off.
Obviously, any updates, you'll see them on Transfer Daily every morning, run by Robbie. Big thanks to Lee, Laurie and Turkish for joining us. You've got LL Sports TV, Turkish LDN, and of course Lee Judges TV. We will be back with any updates as and when they happen. Robbie will be back every morning, and Arsenal actually kick a ball in the Premier League this Sunday. Looking forward to it. Previews, Predicted 11 coming out with the rest of us as well, so look out for that. Catch you very soon.